we are going to actually look at a different persona we're going to call High Score Sally. And our Slate data that we're going to do here, we can just High Score Sally. And again, I'm just going to 1 or 0. And you could also maybe, if you just wanted to have one column and you wanted to rank order these personas so they were mutually exclusive, you could just coalesce a bunch of these subquery exports and get a single value, but then you have to kind of assign a rank to each of the personas, because if they meet multiple, which one do you want them, which preference persona would you have them in? So we're just going to do our existence here. And we're going to count the number of APs taken. And this could be something that you are maybe doing in the reader review process. And again, I'm not recommending any of these data points. I'm not endorsing any of these data points. This is just for an example. So we're going to actually look at the number of APs taken. And maybe this is from your reader review form. And maybe this reader review form occasionally had some non-numerical values in here. So we're also going to just look at a solution for that as well. So we're going to add a filter. And this is just going to be APs taken. And let's just do a formula. Actually, we can probably do a comparison here, and then we'll do, yeah, there we go. Sorry, I suppose I could have done this once before going on here, but so then we'll do a comparison. Well, we have a comparison there, so we're going to do a formula here. Well, I guess we're going to do an aggregate, and then we'll aggregate a formula. So we're just going to I guess we're not. This would just be the replace. So we're going to do this as a formula. So say in this APs taken field, you might have some non-numeric values in there. Maybe like a not verified or student reported, or maybe they didn't know if it was 3 or 4, so they put both of those pieces of text in. So we're just going to replace all of those non-numeric data points and maybe we just want to say the text is self-reported. Now we're going to add some apostrophes around this so it knows to look for a string value of self-reported. And then we're just going to replace that essentially with a null value. Let me just go APs taken cleaned. And you could stack these if you had multiple strings that you were looking to replace. Maybe you are replacing a / or maybe you're replacing some other piece of frequently seen text here. And we can just change this to a real data value, null value. Maybe we just drop in a 0 there. So APs taken, maybe for a high academic performance persona, we just want to say that the value is 3. And maybe we have some other kind of criteria for schools that don't offer APs, or some other element to kind of balance the academics. So then maybe this is APs or GPA or some other element that allows the student to express and demonstrate their academic qualifications in this kind of persona. So perhaps the ecospherical data then here is, again, multiple criterias. And maybe we want to look at what are the percent of adults, again, in their geographic ecospherical area that just have a bachelor's degree or higher. So again, we're just going to do another comparison filter. We're just going to do percent adults, at least bachelors. And we'll just continue to add that data point. So just search for bachelors, percent of adults with at least a bachelor's. And we can just make that a real just in case. And we'll drop a null value of 0. But perhaps we don't have data. Maybe perhaps this is data that's not necessarily on your data point. So what if, instead of just adding that straight data, we can embed this. As a coalesce. And coalesce is just going to say if there is no value here, and we'll just add that to string. We're not going to add a null value because then our coalesce isn't going to work. Maybe we know that the average percent of adults with at least a bachelor's is 15% in our communities, in RS data, whatever it is. So we're going to coalesce. So if they don't have this particular data point on their record, then we're just going to go with this kind of manually constructed average. And again, you could even tie that a little bit more closely with actual data, with some conditionals, formula, whatever it could be. So percent bachelors with average fallback. And you could coalesce whatever kind of naming convention that you want to add, and we'll just do format value of real. Real just gives us the decimal points. Integers would be just whole values, which wouldn't work with a percentage unless you are adjusting the percentage up into a 0 to 100 instead of a 0 to 1 value. So we can just get rid of that raw value, raw data. And then maybe for this, we want to say it's 0.30 or 30% is our cutoff for this. So we'll just say that greater than or equals to 0.30. So either one of those criterias would identify a prospective record as a high score Sally persona. And then